I'd like to call the Tuesday, June 6th Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Thaddeus Cutler, please lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Public comment. I do not have any public comment cards. Clerk Treasurer, claims approval.
Okay, we have civil city payroll in the amount of $489,453.49.
I move we approve the civil city payroll.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Situated over here. We have spring fire fitness for 34 firefighters in the amount of $14,507.44.
I move we approve the spring fire fitness.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
We have spring police fitness for 18 officers in the amount of $8,674.
I move we approve the spring police fitness.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
These are among the highest we've had, I think, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's great.
We have sewage claims in the amount of $356,266.44.
I move we approve the sewage claims.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and I think Melissa Mischke's here to explain and walk through each individual item.
Don't do that to poor Melissa.
Okay, maybe
I will.
not.
I'll do it under my area.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
We have water claims in the amount of $230,234.23.
I move we approve the water claims.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And then finally, we have civil city claims in the amount of $884,483.53.
I move we approve the civil city claims.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I think the next, do you want to go with the next item on the
You're on a
agenda?
roll, yeah, absolutely.
Annette, this birthday request, and then it comes back to me.
This is a late addition. I had a call from a citizen who lives at 410 East 16th Street yesterday. They had apparently gone to the engineer's office to find out the process to close the street in front of their house for a birthday party. They're expecting a large amount of people. So it was put together kind of quickly. There are 3 driveways off of this section of the street. All of the people involved are going to be within and involved in the birthday party. They are all aware of it. The street dead ends at between Hillcrest and, not dead ends, I'm sorry, but it is between Hillcrest and Farrand. And they have, I didn't attach it to everybody, but I do have their certificate of insurance. And I'm not sure what else I can answer, any questions I could answer for you.
Do I have a motion to approve the birthday party?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
So Annette, so like the 16th, it dead ends at Hillcrest.
It does dead end at
Okay,
Hillcrest,
'cause
but it
didn't come
doesn't,
through on the copy, but I thought I saw it in the email, so.
yeah, it doesn't dead end at Farrand. It's a through street at
Okay.
Farrand, I believe.
Police, fire, any concerns?
No, I'm sure they spoke with the neighbors, right?
They did, and there's also an alleyway. It's not an official alleyway, but there is an alleyway there, and The neighbors are all involved in the birthday party.
That's nice.
I don't know who wants to deny a 2-year-old's birthday party, so
Well, I think you could be invited
like a
if
good
you're
time.
interested in cake.
as long as there's buttercream frosting, I'm there, you know.
They offered that up, kind of a bribe maybe, but
So I do have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't have anything in front of you, but I do want to ask the board to not increase the overall credit limit, but increase the credit limit for Roberta Mumoff from Parks Department for the summer playground. They have some items that they need to take care of this summer for the summer playground. Roberta's current credit card limit is $2,000, so we'll decrease my credit card limit and increase hers by $1,500, $1,700, whatever it is that she needs. They need to rent a vehicle for the summer playground camp, and they have to do it 2 months in a row. And there's just the rental company needs her to be the one to sign. I don't think she's here today.
Anything Mr. Schreiber would like to add? Or was that covered?
So, for our summer playground program, which is free to the community and ongoing, starting yesterday at 5 parks around the city, we have one van, our rec van that we've had for a number of years. We rent a second van that is funded through our grant that we get from the Healthcare Foundation. So they help fund the salaries for the playground leaders, they fund the van, and then they fund some money for some play equipment for it. So with that, obviously we have to rent the van for the summer. Roberta is the person who does that, so that thus the increase to her credit card limit, so she could put it on a credit card for a rental like anybody else would.
And you would
So that I
reduce-
don't have to go to the rental company and do it.
You'd reduce yours by an equal amount then.
Yes, yep.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second. And it'll
Motion.
just be for a short amount of time then,
Yeah, it'll just be for 1 month.
literally?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Do we know how many kids are kind of participate in that summer program? Ballpark?
Yeah, typically we get around maybe 300-400 kids registered. Now, obviously, they don't all attend every single time. It's a free drop-in program. So, but at the 5 different, and some parks have higher attendance than others. But yeah, we usually get close to 400 kids registered for the summer.
That's awesome.
I think Andrea Smith has a comment, if you'd like to come forward.
Good morning, Andrea Smith, Human Resource Director. Mark, just make sure I get the name of the person and their driver's license so I could run their background checks for each driver's license.
And Enterprise Rental is doing that as well. They're making them collect all of the information on all of the drivers.
Yep, but I would like to run it as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good idea. Thank you.
So I do have a motion and a second.
Thank you.
Awesome. It's a great program.
Further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Where else would we learn how to play Old Mill? Do they still play Old Mill?
Wow.
I don't even know what that is.
Neither.
I spent my
I don't-
summers at what is, used to be City Park, right now Charles Lindewald Park. So, loved it. Absolutely loved it. T-ball, yeah. Sorry.
Geez, that's a memory. Trash removal request.
Brian Eigenman talked to Utility Billing about some commercial apartments that he owns that he would like to remove trash service from. He turned in his current contract with Republic Services, so you can see that he does have trash services. So we're asking that the service address for the commercial apartments that Brian Eigenman turned in be removed from trash service.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, and so he's going to keep Republic.
Correct.
Okay.
Further comments?
Well, just I mean, there's no reason why we can't approve this, right? That if,
You mean because of our
It's
contract with
commercial,
Waze?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Because it's
allowable.
commercial, they
Yep.
have that
So that-
option.
Okay, got you, just want to make sure. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Conflict of interest disclosure statement.
Sure, I'll take that. I'm filling in for Nick today. Nick indicated
Could you
that.
state your name for the record?
Anthony Novak.
There you go.
This conflict of interest is related to a firefighter, Eric Saby, who also has a legitimate side business, Closed Circuit Electric LLC. He's going to do work that's eligible for CDBG funds, and he is submitting this conflict of interest disclosure to indicate that he does have an interest in this business that would receive these funds. So that's in front of you for approval.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
So just have they been awarded at this point, any contracts, or is this kind of proactively?
Mary Ann, if you could.
This is just
It's-
potentially in prep.
Yeah, I believe it says he just submitted a bid, and because of that, he's filling this out.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The contract for electrical services for homeowner repair has not been awarded yet because I have to proceed with requesting a waiver from HUD over the conflict of interest. And I know the mayor knows how involved that is from past experience. So the contract has not been awarded. Quotes have been opened, but everything is paused right now until we get authorization from HUD that they're allowing a waiver. And that's in process.
Okay, thank you.
But we still should be able to get the work done.
I cannot be under contract
timely-
for HUD until I get that waiver from HUD.
But I mean, we hope that it'll still be this year.
Yes, yes,
I just don't want to lose out on a season.
I agree. And plus, the electrical work that needs to be done will hold up other work that will be done in the three houses also. So
Good.
it'll be like a clog in the pipe.
I do have a motion and a second. Further comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Let's now move to department heads for their brief updates. Jess Bruder, Communications.
Good morning, Board. I just want to say we've got lots of events coming up this summer, so make sure to check out the calendar at liveinthelakeLife.org. Also wanted to add, we finally have a new storage system for the minutes and agenda archive on the website. This was long overdue. Yeah. Our website developers did a great job when they developed the site, but they were under a kind of a tight timeline. And this was one area that didn't get the attention I think it deserved. So their solution was not user-friendly. It had lots of bugs. So we finally got everything moved out of there. It took me individually downloading each document and re-uploading it. There was no mass download or mass upload, so it took hours, but it's finally done. And that's all I've got.
Andrea Smith, HR.
Good morning. Nothing today.
Craig Phillips, Planning.
Good morning. Been very busy getting the 39 North annexation underway. We started that process as far as the council approvals last night. Just a reminder, the mailings to all the property owners will go out today or tomorrow with a copy of the fiscal plan, and the process will continue with public hearing on August 7th. In addition to that, we're working on the agreements for the firehouse project and 18th Street residential project. In addition to that, getting the request for proposals out for the city's comprehensive plan. So there's some of the things that we're working on right now.
And just to confirm, the fiscal plan that was presented to the council last evening is basically the plan that was given during the 3 days of public meetings
Summary
at the
was given during
Civic.
those 3 days, correct. It was in draft form at that point, and that information was a summary of what was presented last night.
So the fiscal plan has been out there for a few weeks.
Correct.
Thank you. Tim Werner, Water.
Good morning to the board. Crews finished up last week relocating some water lines on Truesdale Ave. We discontinued an old 3-inch that ran from McClung down to the band shelter. We had an existing main that fed irrigation to Ron Reed Field, so we felt that it was better to get the mains out of the new road. It's an old problematic line. It's going to help us with water quality. In that process, we also ran 2 new service lines to the band shelter and the concession stand there, and the sample station right there. That work has been completed. The crews will also be starting this week with painting all 1,100 hydrants in our system. I have them focusing on Lincoln Way, Pine Lake Ave, Indiana Ave, the main thoroughways coming into town, to have those completed by the 4th of July. That way that all the hydrants on Lincoln Way and the main thoroughways are nice and yellow. So that's all I have this morning.
Melissa Mischke, wastewater.
I don't really have anything. I can say from an MS4 perspective, we do have new cocoa mats arriving for the 4th of July parade that we're going to put along the parade route again.
Nick Minnick, Engineering.
Just one small thing. This came up yesterday. Bloomfield Mechanical closed the section of street right in front of the YMCA for some HVAC upgrades on the roof. There's been some type of failure, and they need to come back. It's only been 4 months, and if it's okay with the board, we'll just kind of handle that under the last permit that they did as far as street closure. So that
Is that closure just during the time that they're there?
just yeah,
working on the roof?
to get the crane in,
Okay.
get up there, and then yeah. So usually I think it's a couple hours at most.
Jeff Batchelor, Code and Streets.
So this week, we're focused on crack sealing and potholes, and then trimming trees with the street. Also got a report about the dumpsters. I think people have seen the video that the mayor and he put out. We moved the dumpsters inside the fence because people were abusing them, overfilling them, leaving garbage all over the floor or on the ground. And then also the last 2 weekends they had in front of the fence, because we remove it because people abuse it, just stack stuff right outside our fence, and then me and another person had to come in and move it, so that if we leave it out there, more people's gonna dump more stuff out there. So we came Saturday and did it. There was more stuff out there Sunday. So we just moved both dumpsters inside. So hopefully people will take and use this like it's supposed to be used and not abuse it, because it's a great opportunity for people to take advantage of. But we can't have, it's a neighborhood. The neighbors deserve better than that, and so does all of us too, so.
And again, the city are not the bad people. The people that can't follow the rules and dumping entire living room sections of furniture on the street when there's clearly no dumpster there. It's not as if you can't see it. Those are the individuals that obviously can't follow the rules. And this is not in exchange for a spring pickup. The spring pickup, where you all saw the costs on this board for someone to do 2 cleanups. So we balanced the cost of trash pickup with the balance of how large of an increase were we going to take here. And one cleanup was the best way, compromise, to do it. But that doesn't give people the right to just start dumping at the street department as if it's a trash pickup. So let's get it together out there, and you see a dumpster, dump it in the dumpster, but if not, you may have to come back for that UEA-provided service, who's paid for it.
Well, yeah, I'll comment, because I literally went out there with a piece of furniture that I wanted to put in the dumpster, and it was gone. Now then I figured out, watched the video and figured out kind of what was going on, but I certainly didn't just dump it there, right? So that's the right thing to do. So yeah, but I get it, right? It's some people who just, for their own convenience, are, basically doing this and affecting everyone else who is trying to follow the rules. So, and I think the one thing I'd like to point out is, I think it's relatively rare that cities provide this kind of a service at all. I'm not sure, but correct me if I'm wrong, but this is not a common service to provide dumpster disposal for residents. or spring cleanup where you go around and pick everything up. I mean, Mayor, I don't know this.
Correct.
How many communities around us do this? Do you happen to know? I don't know.
No, I don't know. And again, the UEA paid for the dumpster program, so it's not the residents paying that tax or paying a fee to have it. It's literally, thanks to the UEA and then Jeff managing it, a free service. And some have asked, have someone stand out there. Well, we're not going to pay somebody to stand out there and monitor. Use some common sense when you pull up there, and if the dumpster's not there,
And I think there has been some other companies. I think Kingsford Heights now has a dumpster outside their place. I think Valparaiso or Portage, one of them, have a dumpster that they use too, because they seen how well our program was working. So, I mean, it works if people don't abuse it.
and we'll continue to try to find a way to make it available.
Yes.
Chief Breton, police.
We're ready to go for the official cruise night. Will be Saturday night. We'll have officers every other intersection, run it kind of like the parade. Historically, we haven't had many problems there, but that's ready to go. And hopefully by the next meeting, we'll have a swear-in. We have a pension meeting tomorrow. And then we have another academy grad that has applied with us that we're starting the perf background on. And that'll put us full.
Chief Snyder, fire.
You've heard me mention in the past our ISO rating for the city, which is the Insurance Services Office rating. That's what a lot of the property owners and business owners' insurance is based on. That is every year, 5 years, we get a review on that. We were notified last week that they will be here in October to do that review for us. So we will be preparing for all of that to come.
And that could definitely help with 39 North residents and businesses as well.
Most definitely, yes.
And why is that? Why will their rate lower?
We have, because of the water system, the fire and the communications that we provide, there's a ton of factors that go into that, manpower, the equipment, staffing, that dictates that number. And the lower the number, the better off for the residents or the businesses. We currently have a 3 as a classification. We're hopeful to get to a 2. We'll take some work to get there. But I believe the 39 North Conservancy District, I think, is at best a 6 right now. So again, lower number better. That translates into lower insurance costs.
Bert Cook, Economic Development.
I have no report this morning.
Mark Schreiber, Park Department.
Just to follow up on the dumpster conversation, the parks, our trash cans, and our dumpsters are not a good Plan B. So the community needs to know that that's not a place to dump furniture or contractor waste or home garbage either, which obviously when that happens, it costs our time, our resources to try and get all that cleaned up. So please be respectful of the parks. Certainly use the trash cans when you're in the parks. But the dumpsters are for our staff use only, so just a reminder to that. I want to thank everybody involved with the Arts in the Park last week out at the amphitheater in Fox Park. Everything went great, thanks to their volunteers, thanks to everybody who attended. Everybody got in parking, no problems. There was plenty of parking remaining. Everybody leaving, there was no traffic jams, no issues getting out onto McClung to exit. As things stand, we will probably have the same procedures in place for this week. I know they're planning to do some paving, but it'll probably just be base, so we probably still won't be able to allow people in on Truesdale as of Thursday. If that changes, we'll let the public know. But just know that you cannot enter on Truesdale, you can only enter off of the McClung lots. But again, plenty of parking in the back, plenty of parking by Ron Reed Field. And we hope everybody comes out. It was a great night, great band. Everybody had a great time. So we want to keep it going. And just a quick note that the city band does start their concerts this Wednesday at 7 o'clock as well. Same procedures, coming in off of McClung to get to the amphitheater. Thank you.
Beth West, Transport.
Morning, morning. Just a few quick updates. The summer fun passes are still being sold. We've so far, as of yesterday morning, sold 180 passes. 18 of them have been used. For May, I'm still doing numbers, but we had over 3,900 riders, which beat 2019 numbers once again, which we're very excited about. I have talked to the fair. We're all set with them. So we'll be entering in the back off of Ziegler Road and coming in like we did last year, dropping off on their paved lot. They will have benches and stuff for riders to come and go. I had 9 staff take CPR, including myself, which we were very proud of. That's about half of my staff. It was a volunteer process. If they wanted to take it, fine. If they didn't, fine. We weren't making it mandatory. And then just a reminder to the public, we will have a all-day driver training on June 27th, so that we will not be running buses that day. This is something to help better our drivers, to help the public. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, department heads that do not have business before this board, go enjoy a fantastic day. Anthony Novak, release agreement.
Yes, back in April, there was a person who had interaction with police. Some property was lost from that individual. This is a release agreement that would ultimately pay this individual $110 plus a 1-year subscription to LifeLock. Our office is okay with it. The attorney for this individual is okay with it. We would ask for approval of this release so it can be paid.
So before we go to a motion, I want to make sure I understand. This individual is arrested.
Yeah, I believe.
No, okay, it's, when he was placed into custody, he had several felony warrants.
This individual?
Yes. Officer put his cell phone and his wallet on top of the roof of his car as he patted him down, forgot they were there. He got to the jail, the cell phone made it, the wallet did not. The officer on his own time walked the entire route back into the county where he picked him up, could not find the wallet. So that's the lost wallet. The officer went and told the prisoner immediately at the jail that the wallet wasn't there. He told him immediately. So he was upfront about it and then spent several hours looking.
Okay. But this doesn't affect or change his arrest in any way?
This is strictly related to the property of the wallet. And the release indicates that any claims related to the property, the wallet itself, you know, and its contents would specifically be released related to this agreement. It's only that in this agreement.
And you said this individual had several felonies?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Further discussion?
I just wondered how often in situations like this are as a city, are we liable for a property loss like this? Is it fairly rare?
It's rare. It's happened before. It's during that pat-down process. Sometimes they throw them. One guy left a wallet one time on the windshield of his car, but as soon as he pulled away, he saw it slide off. But, I mean, it happens, unfortunately.
But that's an intense part of an arrest where we want our officers focused on themselves and protecting their other
Right.
members.
Right, because that,
Safety, right?
Yes.
he can't have that on him. I mean, we have to turn it over as jail property. And when he realized this is a seasoned officer, and he called me and he was really upset with himself. But like I say, he told the prisoner immediately, hey, I got your phone, I don't have your wallet. I'm gonna go back and look for it.
Okay. So I do have them.
You do.
Yeah.
So move, or,
She moved.
Further,
okay, all right.
further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. David Heinold. Exciting application here for our downtown.
More and more. So David Heinold, Assistant City Planner, ADA Coordinator. 822 Lincoln Way has applied for outdoor dining in front of the Cutler Gallery, or Thaddeus C. Gallery, and it's called the Blue Room. I went out and inspected the location in terms and talked over the requirements for maintaining the clear path along the sidewalk, meets all the requirements. I've attached a photo of they've attached a photo of proposed look of the materials that are going to be used, and they comply with the requirements. So just looking for any questions. If you have them, I'll answer any.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
So discussion, I mean, I think this is fabulous for our downtown.
Yeah.
Any conflict of interest need to be,
I believe it would have previously been done. Did you guys have a conflict
just so
of
we're
interest
upfront, so,
They've submitted.
with the previous ATC application? Yeah, this would have been part of the original ATC application. So it's an
Because-
extension of that.
they are a great partner downtown, the gallery and all the positive that they bring here, I think is very important. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, I appreciate the picture, too.
Yeah, I can't wait to sit there.
Enjoy this. Beth West.
Before you use a proposal from SNS, they are our fire sprinkler protection company that comes in annually, does inspections. They notified us this year that we needed to have a 5-year assessment done, which itemizes everything that they're going to do to make sure that our sprinkler system is up and running. This isn't only for the office, but also for the garage area where we store not only the buses, but some of the street department's equipment, along with some of their trucks. I just need approval. The money is in our budget. I'll have to move some things around, but we'll be able to pay for it. I just need approval and a signature by the mayor.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Is the 5-year assessment, is that a requirement by state? Or,
That's how we were understanding it, that it's required, that for us to make sure that our system is properly operational, that the sprinkler company has to mandate it on behalf of the state.
okay.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Jeff Batchelor.
Yeah, I got quotes for striping for the city. I got 3 of them for the paint. The best one was from out of Cleveland, Ohio, and it was for $4,125 for the white paint and $4,262.50 for the yellow paint, for a total of $8,387.50. And I ask that you approve that.
Which one?
Yeah.
The Sherman-Williams,
Oh, Sherman.
Sherwin-Williams?
there's 2 of them from Sherman-Williams, but the one out of Cleveland, Ohio, that's the best price one.
For strictly the paint.
For strictly the paint. This is just
It's for
paint.
just under $8,400, that
Yeah.
one, right?
Yeah,
And this is in your budget.
yeah. Now I'm gonna ask for another line item, just. so
Motion
that-
to approve. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Or questions, I should say, because Mr. Kosher looks,
Checking it out.
lay it out there.
Well, no, I was just wondering, like, is this because they're from Cleveland like the others, or from out of town, too?
One's from town.
Oh, that last one, okay, so
Yeah.
I didn't see that. That's what I was checking out.
And the goal to paint the curbs by,
Soon, we'll start on it once we get the paint, just like we did last year. And it takes about a month and a half, 2 months to get all of it done. It
that was
takes a
just
while.
reminding me, they've already done it once well, so get off my back if we'll get it done again. Will that be done by the 4th of July then, if we can get it?
Absolutely not.
All right. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
And the second one, we had a transmission go out in one of the dump trucks, and we got 3 quotes. And the best one is for RTS, and it's for $6,050. And I ask that you approve that one.
I'm not sure we can ever approve another contract with an RTS, no matter what they are.
This is not the same thing.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Chief Breton.
Digital chalking. This has been a challenge for us to try to get a company to come in and solve for our parking problems downtown. This is our first step before we get a parking person. Of the two quotes, Vigilant came in the best. There's a $2,800 a year maintenance fee after the first year. We budgeted this already, $16,300. That'll take care of our 2-hour parking, it'll take care of our 24-hour violations, about anything we plug into it. It'll be mounted to a car, which we're planning on using an old squad car. So we can start taking care of that. As everybody knows, we haven't enforced parking for what's been almost a year now.
So how does that work?
It actually, as the car travels, the cameras will actually take a picture of every car. It'll mark where the valve stems are. So if that car doesn't move and they come back in after a restricted time, it'll automatically alert. It'll also be tied to our NCIC and IDAX. If it's a stolen vehicle, it'll alert, and then we'll send an officer to that location.
And if it's similar to the one that we sampled, this takes 20 minutes to run through the downtown, 30 minutes at a time?
We can send it everywhere. We can plug in 24-hour violations. Like I say, it'll pick it up. So all that person's doing is driving. If it gets an alert, then they'll have a laptop in there, they'll enter it into the OpenGov, print out the ticket and put it on the car.
And this can be a civilian?
Yes. Unless it's a stolen vehicle or something else wanted, then it'll alert the officers as well.
So it'll also then, so beyond just a stolen vehicle, if there is let's say a warrant for the owner of the vehicle, that will also notify?
Yeah. Or be on the lookout for, or something like that, yes.
And, I mean, Courtney, how long did it take someone to walk the downtown?
I think it was a couple-hour route every time they walked it.
And this is just downtown, though, 20, 30 minutes, maybe.
Yeah,
There were
but we
4
can,
sections, I think, that they did manually, and
but we could branch this out everywhere there's a lot of 24-hour violations that, it'll pick up on those right away.
And those that might have warrants out. Right, I love that part of it.
So potentially like one part-time person could cover all the important downtown kind of commercial parking areas.
Right.
Plus expand out into
Right.
various parts of the community where there's maybe, okay.
This is the one, we talked to several of them, we were most impressed with them. And then we couldn't believe their dollar amount. It's Motorola cameras, so it's good equipment.
It's amazing technology if you'll get a chance to take a drive and go through that. So do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Further discussion?
You said it was $16,000 up front and then $2,800 a year for maintenance?
Yeah, that'd be your software updates and everything.
Sure, that makes sense, but how long is that for, that you just do the $2,800, before you have to buy a whole new package?
I don't know, it's usually 5 years on electronics, so.
Okay,
As you see, the other one was almost 30,000 or,
right,
yeah, so it's quite a savings.
great.
Further discussion?
When
All-
will it start?
Yeah.
They're about 4 to 6 weeks once we give them the okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Vehicle lease.
This is for 3 Chargers, Pursuit Chargers, lease those for $600 a month. There'll be no money out of pocket this year, we'll have to put it in our budget next year, because we're trading in some problematic cars and that nice car that Jeff has, that we control. We actually have a 2015, we're going to put some amber lights in. Jeff can use that for both the street department and his duties on code enforcement. So we're gonna move him out of that. I know you're gonna miss it. We're gonna move him out of that car. That's gonna be traded in because that still remained under the police department. And we'll get him in a better car.
Thank you. Yeah, he's about to fall out the bottom with some of the problems with that automobile. How much does a police car cost, roughly?
Right now, the Chargers are in the mid-30s.
Okay, so less than $50,000?
That's, wow, oh.
Yes, I heard that, yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, I watched the meeting, so what I was even thinking when I looked at some of the pricing, it's like, well, okay, so the individual, like, we lease these.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he missed. That was the lease. That was with all the equipment and everything.
Hey, why consider the facts, you know? So I do have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Melissa Mischke.
So I have a request from Nice Engineering on the letters and numbers project. This is for the Torino Pond portion for $54,416.05.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. So this will clean up the areas of flooding for the housing next to Torino?
Torino Pond is the first part of that project, and they're about 10% complete, which is what this amount is for.
But that, when completed, it'll address the flooding of
Flooding,
that
yes.
neighborhood that's right next
Yes.
to it. Okay. Further discussion?
There will be, there's designed a second project that can either be quoted or added as a change order. We think quoting it will get some more people interested and get us a lower cost, but this project has to be completed before that specific drainage issue can be constructed.
But the first project will solve the water draining? I mean, the flooding?
It'll solve the lack of location for the water. We have to have a place for the water.
Right.
And then we can remove it.
Okay, so the first project will do that, or no?
Possibly. Possibly.
It
Okay,
gives the water somewhere to go.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
perfect. Further discussion?
Engineers.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Basement backup grant.
Okay, so this is for an individual that had a backup in the basement. And the city is responsible for $3,216.25, and our resident is going to be responsible for $738.75 for the cleanup.
We're not paying for the cleanup.
We are paying a portion of that cleanup. The $3,216 is our responsible portion.
It's the repair.
The actual quote for cleanup was $3,955.
The
So
repair.
as I
What,
understand it,
because it was a backup
The repair.
yes,
problem due to our,
it was our responsibility.
because there's the act of God that we're not responsible for.
This one actually was us.
Okay. So do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, further discussion, because I think some of the residents, the public say, well, you paid for this. Why aren't you paying for all of them? And I think that's the difference, act of God versus when we recognize there was a backup from the wastewater department.
That's correct.
But the problem overall is being corrected or fixed.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yeah.
So that this won't happen again.
Yeah,
Right.
the cleanup is removal of things that are getting switched out plumbing wise, so it doesn't happen again. So it's not like previously where we're paying for a whole bunch of stuff.
Right. Okay.
So that would typically be included in the basement backup grant.
Okay.
Jerry just doesn't always give you all the details of what's included in the grant.
Okay.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Nick Minnick.
Friday, June 2nd at 10:09, we opened bids for the 2022, this fiscal year 2022 or program year, CDBG sidewalk program. Two bidders, Pavey Excavating and Reith Riley Construction. Bids came in pretty good. We had estimated right around $400,000 and both were slightly under that. Pavey Excavating was the lowest, most responsive bidder. Both bidders had all of the required forms and documents included in their bids. I would recommend award to Pavey Excavating in the amount of $378,389. We do have a fairly tight timeline on this. We did a bid opening on Friday so we could award, and we want to see these sidewalks built this summer.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. What sidewalks will these be?
So these sidewalks are essentially in the vicinity and east of City Hall. So we've kind of been chipping away, starting along Jefferson, which was in our priority area 1, then kind of heading south around Lincoln School, kind of in around this vicinity. So it's all within the qualified census tract block, and it's in areas that are priority area 1 or 2 and in need of improvement. So,
But mostly in lower income area.
yeah, let's see, Harrison, the Maple, Mariana, Harrison, Maple, Detroit, kind of that vicinity.
Mariana's.
She's got all the boundaries. I didn't memorize them. She walked them all.
This is in a qualified census tract near Lincoln School, Harrison Street mostly, Detroit Street, a couple locations, Maple Street over here in front of the Y, and then Michigan along Foundation Park and where the house once stood. I think that's about it. Most of, I shouldn't say most, maybe half of Harrison Street is being done. We're also installing some handicap curbs in an area on Harrison Street where there are none. And we picked those areas because Lincoln School is a walking school. They have no bus service. So we're trying to focus and work with the school system on providing a more walkable environment, especially for low-income families.
And do you have a map that highlights these areas?
Mhm.
Can you just share that?
I don't
email
have it with me,
No,
but
I mean,
I can
email it
email it,
after.
yeah.
That'd be good to see. You know, and Mary Ann knows, she's probably like, oh my gosh, I don't want to talk about lead paint, but sidewalks, we definitely want to talk about. And I think this is fantastic, and thank you, and especially in those lower income areas, they deserve it. And there are some crumbled sidewalks here, so I think this is excellent. How soon after it's approved do you think, I mean, we can see work being done?
I think we wanted the contractor to start within, I think we said 14 days to start, just kind of get moving. And we kept it at a timeline that allowed us to get it done by kind of where the grant requirements are. So right around 90 days, I think, is the
Right.
goal. And I kind of will remind you, it may not seem like it, but our homeowner repair program has been scaled back in order to do, you know, almost $400,000 of sidewalks, which is great. And we actually have a little bit more, hopefully, after this, yet this year, because like I said,
We did the additional, or the city council approved the additional appropriation last night, and whatever money was included in that, we'll use to make up the shortfall for this sidewalk program, plus do some additional sidewalks in that same area.
And if you look in the city, I can see why Reith Riley may have had to bid high. They're doing work everywhere.
Right.
So there's a lot of work done. I know it caused delays for traffic, but thank you for your patience. And I just think as we continue to make ground, this is a good project right here.
Yeah, I've commented, because I mean, I think this is a big deal. And we often hear people complain about whatever is going on, you're spending money here, well, it ought to be here, it ought to be here. Well, I mean, this is a fantastic program, and I think to your point about like the fact that Lincoln is a walking school, plus just looking at being able to have the walkability of the sidewalks is very important. It's an important area to address. And, you know, I think you mentioned like when Pine Lake Avenue, and, you know, you hear people complaining about the traffic and the upgrades, and it's like, I've been on those sidewalks, they were horrible. So a person might have difficulty with all the cracked sidewalks walking But now you drive along Pine Lake Avenue, maybe nobody notices when they're driving. They are all flat and level. And, you know, even folks who have difficulty getting around could walk a couple blocks along Pine Lake Avenue. Same thing goes for this. So, you know, I think it is unfortunate because you hear a lot of complaining with people, from people who often really don't know what's going on. They don't know where money is being spent. They also may not know that certain monies can't be spent for their kind of things that they think they ought to be addressed. So anyway, but I think this is fantastic.
Yeah,
and
the
we're very
good thing,
lucky
I
to be
mean,
able
when
to
you
do it.
look at all the kids who ride, the students who ride their bikes, and hopefully, I don't know, they probably should be riding in the streets, but I grew up being taught to ride on the sidewalk if there's a sidewalk. You know, we're improving that. And also all the parents who may push a younger sibling in a stroller to pick up their child at school, they're going to have a better surface to push that stroller on.
And a lot of those kids from Lincoln are walking over to the YMCA to
Yes.
take swim
Correct.
lessons, so it all kind of fits together. But hopefully the timeline for when kids start, the school starts back up, you know, hopefully they'll be a little further down the line of that timeline, of that 90-day timeline.
Yeah, Pavey Excavating's starting to wrap up our ADA and 50/50 program from last year, and they're kind of mobilized to do sidewalk work right now. So it should be really good timing to keep
Great.
them moving on just building sidewalks in the city, so.
Nice.
And I do want to mention, if you haven't come down Pine Lake right there at Newport Boulevard, in the center of Pine Lake is going to be the crossing for the bike
Right.
station, and that looks wonderful as well, so good job.
And again, the point of where funds come from, so the Chessie Trail is a federal grant specifically for congestion mitigation and air quality, which means taking cars off the road, which means providing alternative transportation. It can't be used to pave streets, can't be used for anything. And then that was matched by the Healthcare Foundation. So local city dollars, nothing went into that. And the CDBG program is a federal program that takes a lot of oversight and a lot of paperwork and a lot of time, but it gets us something that isn't coming out of local dollars that we can then, you know, hopefully maximize, because our streets are important and our sidewalks are important. We have so many important elements of infrastructure. So it's great that we can utilize the CDBG program for sidewalks and, you know, always look for those outside dollars that aren't local tax dollars.
Further discussion?
Can I make one more comment?
Please.
You know, speaking about cycling or walking, obviously we've got a lot of great sidewalks, but whether it's a cyclist who's on the road or someone who might be walking along a road that does not have a sidewalk, of which there's quite a few areas like that, I'd just like to ask all motorists to please slow down and give people a few feet. As a cyclist and someone who walks sidewalks and roads, I'm just amazed. Now, there are a lot of great people who, like, I'll be out riding that no traffic, they'll slow down a little bit, they'll give, 3 or 4, 5, 6 feet, right, of room. That's wonderful. Thank you so much from all cyclists, whether it's kids or adults. But there are people who absolutely are speeding. I mean, I guess I don't have a speed gun on my bike, but they seem to be going pretty fast and barely move over or slow down. And it really is infuriating to see motorists who just kind of like don't seem to really care. So it really is most motorists, I think, do a great job of paying attention and giving people and kids and adults a little bit of space. But my goodness, if you are out there and you don't pay attention to a cyclist, please get your foot off the gas and give them a couple of feet as long as traffic is appropriate. Sorry.
Absolutely, no, I love it. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. VoIP training.
For the transition to VoIP, I would like to request that we close City Hall on June 20th, 8:30 to 9:30. This will be a Zoom training, but we want all employees to understand the phone system ahead of using it. And just an hour on that. The 20th isn't too much to ask. So.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Other business, our next meeting Wednesday, June 21st. With school being out, we've already had some delinquent activities. And I'll tell you what, I don't know from a legal perspective, but once these individuals go through the system, I think there's got to be something where I think Jeff would more than happy teach some lessons, break some concrete, or we'll make sure these kids all day long are working, that they won't do anything at night. And Anthony, I mean, put you on the spot. Is there any way that we as the city can connect with these kids that are being charged, and once their court system has decided what their punishment is, can we connect and have individuals do work for community service, or?
Yeah, I would think if it's voluntary, I would think. I don't know specifically. I'd have to look into a lot of that. But I do know that for some kids that are under the age of 18, I volunteered as a judge on teen court. And that was a lot of situations where, rather than go through the juvenile justice system, they had small infractions and they were ordered to do some sort of community service. So yes, I'm sure that there's a way that we could ultimately connect and try and have a program like that. But I'd have to look in the intricacies.
Because painting cars, spray painting cars is absolutely ridiculous. And we got a lot of work. They can spray paint out in the heat, and we can keep them extremely busy. I know we'll have to be responsible for them, but I'm sure fire and police, they could use some scrubbing of their departments as well, and doing some other things. But I think we're just not going to tolerate it, and it can do some good work in the community.
If they're skilled painters, I think we can help develop.
I got
those skills.
1,100 hydrants they can help paint.
Absolutely. Make them think twice. So if you don't mind just looking into that and see how we can engage that. Further comments? Nothing? Oh, check out the market if you haven't had a chance the first couple weeks. Change is never easy, but I think people have been extremely happy with the new market, and it's on Sunday, 11 to 3. Different vendors, and appreciate the public support and the citizen support. The first week, they clicked in 1,000 people checking out the market, so I think that was good.
Mayor, do you know what, like last year, what like a rough traffic flow was?
Not as much.
Not 1,000.
I think we had fewer vendors. We had 29 the first week, 22 or so this past Sunday. So thank you to everybody giving us a chance to work, and enjoy it. It'll be out there again Sunday.
Yeah. They're changing things up regularly too, like cooking classes and.
Yes, cooking classes is coming this Sunday, live, and everything to cook you can buy right on site. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Have a great day, everybody. Amanda, thank you for coming.
So